Please do not suggest fusion combinations in the comments. If you'd like to vote and participate in the poll for the next fusion, you can find the poll in the description down below. The host this week is Garnet. Anyway. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to... I don't know. I was like... I want to do a goofy voice. Because I feel like... I like... Because that part's so jarring. I need to do some funny voices, but you know. Anyway, hello everyone. Oh wow, we're already off to a great start, aren't we? Welcome back to more fusions. Yay! This week we have Topaz and Garnet. I wasn't that shocked that Garnet won that poll because that was a thing that people seemed to wanted before when Topaz people seem to want before was a Garnet and Topaz, which it doesn't really surprise me that much. But also like Blue Topaz, my character Blue Topaz also got pretty like second place, pretty kind of close-ish, closer than other people at least. So that was kind of interesting. I was like, oh, that's nice. But yeah. So, this also means, like, the host is Garnet, and which is weird, because I feel like I've done a lot of Garnet recently with my fusions. Like, I feel like Garnet's just been, like, the host a lot. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I just feel like, I don't know. Just a weird thing I realized. I feel like I've just done a lot of Garnet recently, and it's just kind of like, huh, weird. Anyway, so, today we have Hessonite, the fusion between Garnet and Topaz. And before anyone says anything, yes, I'm aware that Hessonite is also a Garnet. That's part of the reason why I picked it. Because of, like, Garnets are actually a lot, represent a lot of love kind of things. And also because Garnets are, like, multicolored anyway. You know, Topazes are multicolored, like, you know, I don't know. But also, I was looking around for the gem, and I was having kind of a weird time because I wanted to find a gem that was, like, orange and, like, kind of sunsetty like colors, because Garnet's, like, dark pink and red, like, you know, and then Topaz is yellow, with some, like, red stuff. So I was thinking I wanted to find one that was kind of multicolored-esque, but I couldn't find one. Then I found, like, Hessonite Garnet, and I looked up pictures, and I'm like, oh my god, that is a gorgeous gem. It's a very pretty gem. Go look up pictures. Hessonite Garnet is, like, very, very pretty gem. But yeah, and I ended up seeing that, and I looked up the meaning of it, and I thought the meaning was just really, really fitting of what Hessonite represents. And I'm reading directly off a website, so credits to the website, not mine. And this is a screenshot, so it's like a website like crystals and jewelry meanings, something like that. But yeah, so Hessonite Garnet, or Hessonite, is a stone of passion and creativity. In addition to the metaphysical pop energies of Garnet in general, it is particularly geared towards creative and personal expression. Emotionally, Hessonite Garnet is used in crystal healing for issues of sexuality, emotional imbalance, and a lack of interest in life. So yeah, I felt like it was just a very fitting gem for Garnet and Topaz. Like, I mean, passion and creativity, like, and personal expression and stuff like that. Like, that kind of felt pretty fitting. And then I felt like the second part was very fitting directly to Topaz. Like, you know, having issues with, like, sexuality, which I know that isn't, like, technically. What's funny is that, like, everyone, like, draws fan art of, like, the Topazes being in a ship together. And what's interesting is my kind of headcanon is actually that they're just, like, best friends. And it's, like, a platonic love to me. It's just kind of what I see, but, you know. Romance is also a thing, too. But, you know. So maybe not, like, issues with sexuality, but kind of similar, like, in the sense that, you know, fusion isn't allowed, and they're only fused because they're beneficial, but they actually like being fused together, you know. They have, like, an emotional imbalance. They're very emotional, and they also have to hide their emotions, which probably doesn't make it better. You know, all the other fun stuff. And maybe not a lack of interest in life, but a lack of interest in, like, the life she's living, but, you know. But yeah, so I thought it was like a very fitting gem for Garnet and Topaz to me. And I also like I theorize, if you can't tell from the little picture in the bottom, my image in my mind on how like this would be is kind of going off of like, let's pretend that in the future Topaz joins the Crystal Gems, which would be amazing. And I imagine like Garnet would be kind of like the mentor there, like kind of the best friend in that scenario. And so that's kind of what I imagine, like she being the one to show her around and all that good fun stuff, you know? As for like a personality of the fusion, I'd imagine that they'd probably be like very love, 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 hugs and cuddles and love and all that good stuff, just all those positive feelings and all that good stuff. And I also just imagine that they have kind of like the more emotional, like expressiveness of Topaz, but also having like the protective kind of leadership and kind of like the confidence of Garnet in a sense. Is kind of what I imagine their personality kind of being like. They probably lean a bit more like, they probably lean a bit more on the Topaz side of personality, probably, but you know. But yeah, that's kind of what I imagine. And I was gonna do a weapon in this picture, but I was like doing concepts of it and I just wasn't enjoying it. I don't really love drawing weapons very often. It's just not my forte. It's I don't really especially like it's funny, I give a lot of my characters their weapons like long staves and things like that and swords, and I hate if the drawing the straight lines is not something I enjoy because I have to use a line tool. It's not my thing. But yeah, but I do imagine like I couldn't like I just imagine it'd be Topaz's weapon, only they have like the fists on the ends instead of just the pointy things, which I know, super creative, ooh, but you know, I mean, I don't know, I'm not, who said it had to be creative? But yeah, that's kind of what I imagine their weapon would be like, surprise, you know. But yeah, so that's my thing there. And also, I really, like, I really, really love how the colors came out in this, like, a lot. Like, a lot, a lot. I know in the past I've said, like, I like the colors in this one. I like the colors in this one a lot. Just probably because I already like looking at the Hessonite gem just as pretty to me in general. But I like just how the colors came out with this one, like, just with the reds and things like that and all the sunset colors. And I thought it looked pretty. But yeah, so I really like how that all came out. And I also, like, when I was done with it, I just kind of looked back on it, and I can't stop seeing the hair as reminding me of, like Frankenstein's wife. That's what I keep seeing is, like, that kind of hairstyle. If anyone, like, knows what that looks like, you know, with the thing with the streaks in it. Like, I don't know, I just looked at it and reminded me of that, and I just started laughing because that wasn't really intentional, but I thought it was funny thing that I noticed. And I was like, well, that's a thing, and now I can't unsee it. But you know, so yeah, that's a thing. That's a fun thing. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all about. I have to really say about a fusion. I think I was thinking about it because when I did my aquamarine topaz fusion, I remember mentioning that like I'm not doing the topazes unfused because to me it just felt like two of the exact same thing that wouldn't look that different. It just felt kind of like pointless to me to put the unfused topaz parts in the poles. But some people did bring up a fair point that like a fusion with like one less topaz would probably look different and look more like less like topaz, and a topaz with the whole entire fusion would be like look more like topaz, which is something I do agree with, and I think is actually a fair point. You know, with that, I'm still not going to do them separately, but it is a fair point, like that they would look different. But like again, at the same time, I just kind of like, you know, it feels like weird to me that I'd put them in the poll because, you know, they still, it would be like redrawing the same thing, but with less Topaz, and it just felt like there's already so many gems in the pole. Like, what's the need, you know? But it is a very fair point, and that is definitely something I agree with there. With like you know, some people say like if Garnet fused with another ruby, and they were still Garnet, would they just look more like a ruby? Which is kind of a funny thought because Garnet already looks a lot like ruby in much of her design. But you know, so that is a very interesting point, which I actually did kind of apply to this one because I tried to make it lean a bit more on the topaz side because it's two topazes that look exactly the same. So, you know, it's almost like half of it's topaz, part of it's a ruby, part of it's a sapphire, you know? So yeah, that's kind of the thing there. So yeah, that's all I got for this one, and I hope you enjoyed this lovely fusion thing. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Leave comments down below of your thoughts, whatever, and make sure to go vote. Host is Garnet. I'm interested to see who wins. Honestly, I'm really interested because I think there's only like 3 or 4 at most characters, like canon characters that in the poll that Garnet hasn't fused with yet, and the rest are my gems, so I'm kind of interested to see what happens. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video, whatever it may be. Hope you're having a marvelous day. Zodiac out.